Welcome back to Caps Hockey Review. Back with you yet again following a Wednesday night win on opening night against the New York Rangers. Plenty to discuss. Rookie gets his first NHL goal. Alex Ovechkin keeps climbing the ladder. We'll break it all down right here, right now. And off we go. Caps Hockey Review back underway once again. Breaking down Wednesday night's win, opening night, home opener against the New York Rangers. A lot of good things. A lot of good things to take away from this thing. First and foremost, Hendrix Lapierre. I know some other big things happened, and we'll get there. But I have to hit on the rookie first because he had a great game. Hendrix Lapierre, first official NHL goal in his first regular season NHL game. Huge. Centering that third line with TJ Oshie on his right, Connor Sherry on his left. This guy looks like the real deal. He looks like he'd be a real impact player for the Caps. Of course, bringing some youth to the lineup as well, which we love to see. I love the way this line played. They were all over the ice all night. They were doing some great things, generating a lot of chances. This kid, Lapierre, is learning from a great mentor in TJ Oshie. With playing on that same line, Oshie seems like he really likes this kid, wants him to do well. This is a great position for Lapierre to be in. And having Connor Sherry on that other side of the ice, Sherry's been around the block a few times. He's a two-time Stanley Cup champion. Some great guys for this young kid to learn from. So I really like that third line. Of course, we're probably going to see it stick together for a while with Nick Backstrom on long-term IR, barring any further injuries or some downward play elsewhere. I think we're going to see this line stick together. They look like they play well together. They make beautiful music together, however you want to put it. It looks really good. And Oshie, of course, getting the Caps started. It was a power play goal, first goal of the season. It was dirty, right in front of the net, jamming in the rebound. Any way you can get them. They don't ask how, they ask how many. It doesn't matter if you're sniping it from the circle. It doesn't matter if you have sweet hands on a breakaway or a nice 2-on-1, or you get a crusty one and jam it in right in front of the net. They all count the same. Oshie getting us off on a good foot early in the game. That's what we like. The Caps are such a better team when they're playing from ahead. I feel like they play from such more a point of confidence and just better all around. More solid, more controlled, more just everything's good. Everything's good when they play from ahead. They play with poise, they control the puck, they don't panic. I love that. And of course, we're not always going to play from ahead, and we're probably going to see, I would guess on Saturday maybe we'll see what they're like playing from behind, because they're playing a really good Lightning team, but we'll get there. A few more things to talk about first. Alex Ovechkin climbing the ladder. Now, as anybody who watched this last Caps Hockey Review before Wednesday night's game, or has been on Twitter, John Scott, I touched on that. I'm not going to go too far into it. Ovi ain't done yet. And I think John Scott's take is going to be proven to be very cold by the end of the year. Ovi off to a fantastic start. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points on the night. Great job. Oh, and by the way, he passes Marcel Dion for 5th all-time in NHL goal scoring, trailing just the great one, Gordie Howe, Jaromir Jagr, and Brett Hull. He's 10 goals away from passing Hull, and he's 34 away from passing Jagr. So we could see both of those fall this year. There is every possibility that by the end of the 82nd game this season, we are talking about Alex Ovechkin being third all-time behind just the legend himself, Gordie Howe, and the great one, Wayne Gretzky. But not there yet. Great start for Ovi. Great start for the team. Kuznetsov. This guy showed up on Wednesday. 3 assists. He's doing great things. If he can play like this consistently, and I know that's been the knock on Kuz the entirety of his career. The inconsistency from him has been just, as a fan, it's so frustrating, and I'm sure as a coach it's frustrating. If they can get this guy doing things like he did on Wednesday night on a regular basis, the sky is the limit. I mean, you have a young guy in Lapierre doing great things. You have Faravari, the young guy on the back end, doing some good things. If Kuz can really, really find his groove again, I really like where this team can go. I think when Kuznetsov is on his game, they're a whole different team. It's just, it opens up so many more avenues for offense to shine through. I mean, it takes some of the pressure off Ovi. It takes pressure off Backstrom. It takes pressure off Oshie, Wilson. There's so many guys, and Mantha as well. There's so many guys on this team who are very, very capable of putting in a lot of goals, contributing a lot of points to this team. And when Kuznetsov is rolling, he can be a real, real force for this team. So hopefully we see that continue. I'm really excited. It's overreaction day. It is overreaction day. And what I mean by this, every NHL fan goes through this regardless of what team you cheer for. First game of the year. If your team gets off on the right foot, everybody sits here and says it's going to be a great year. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Hockey's back. We have a shot at the cup. Whatever. If you lose, it's a different mentality. You kind of start second guessing all these, maybe these moves you made in the off season, maybe whatever, trades, free agency, acquisitions. Maybe you start second guessing a little bit. But it's game 1 of 82. So my excitement here needs to come down just a little bit. It's game 1 of 82. So plenty of runway left. But I like the start. I like how they look. The question right now is going to be, can they maintain this? Now, they're not going to go 82-0. We know that. I think the thing for the Caps we've seen the last few years, they get off to these really, really good starts early in the season, winning games convincingly, finding ways to win games that maybe they should have lost. And they kind of lose that as we get deeper into the season. And come the latter part of the season, I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know what it is. They just always seem like they kind of run out of gas these last couple of years toward the end of the season. So we'll see if they can keep that up. I like where they're at right now, but you don't have to go 10-0 to start the season. Just be solid. Be in the mix. Hit your peak at the right time. Hit your stride at the right time. That's what we're seeing with these Stanley Cup winners these last few years. Maybe not Tampa. I mean, they rolled pretty much all last year. But generally speaking, speaking for the majority, teams that find their stride in February, those are typically the teams that make a real run at the Stanley Cup, because you start playing really, really your best hockey in February. That means you're climbing, and you're hitting that peak right about playoff time. And once that happens, it all just kind of falls in place. It just seems like bounces go your way. When teams buy into what their coach is telling them and they believe in each other, it's an extremely powerful thing in sports. So hopefully this team can find their stride in the spring. I'm really glad they're off to a good start, but we'll see how it goes down the road. Like I said, it's only game 1. I'm really excited today. I might be sitting here after the Lightning game with a completely different tune. We'll see. And speaking of, the Caps have some tough games coming up. Of course, I touched on the Lightning. Also, Colorado Avalanche on Monday make their only visit to the district this season. That's going to be another test. I mean, you have obviously people predicting the Lightning to go for the three-peat, but Colorado is absolutely a Stanley Cup contender. And I would argue probably the biggest contender out of the Western Conference. I would say at this point for Colorado, they are in a spot where if you're not making the finals, it's a disappointment. It's a letdown. So that's going to be a tough test for the Caps. I'm really intrigued to see how these next two games go, and I think that'll give us a little better idea of where this team is. I do not expect them to win both games outright. Maybe in overtime, maybe late, maybe they get an OT loss. If they can come out of these next two games with 2 points, 3 points, great. If they come out of it with all four out of 4 possible points, fantastic. That'll give us a real good idea where this team stacks up against the NHL's best. So, a lot to look forward to this season. I'm going to stay a little bit short today. So, lots to look forward to. Some big games, like I said, coming up. Some young guys to be excited about. Of course, LaPierre, Faravari, both slotted in on opening night. Haven't seen McMichael yet. That was kind of my hot pick to pick up the slack with Backstrom out, but it's a results-driven business, and it's a performance-driven business, and LaPierre has been the better player, and I'm very excited for that. So I'll be curious to see how this plays out with these young guys. Of course, Backstrom's going to miss at least 10 games being on long-term injured reserve. So McMichael may well get his chance somewhere in here. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm very excited for this team. Also, one more thing. TJ Oshie. I'm circling back. This guy, I would say Hendrix Lapierre could not have a better mentor than TJ Oshie. And here's why. He's got TJ Oshie playing on his right wing. We know that. But TJ is a do-everything kind of player. We know he's great offensively. He can chip in. He can score from anywhere on the ice, basically. He's dangerous in the shootout, but he's very responsible defensively also, and he's a great teammate. He is exactly what you would model a team player to be. If you built your ideal team player, it would be TJ Oshie. He's just on board for everything. He's here for the boys. He's so excited. I mean, I think he was more excited to see LaPierre score that goal the other night than LaPierre was. Go back and look at it if you don't remember or you didn't see it. He was so excited for this kid. Like, he teed him up on that play with a nifty little drop pass, and it's basically him saying, kid, you're going to score tonight. Like, I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that you find the net tonight. So having a guy like that to learn from is so great for LaPierre, and I'm sure Oshie can be a mentor to some of these other young guys that may come through the system here. But what a great person for LaPierre to learn from. He's in a really great position to succeed. That third line with Oshie and Sherry on his wings looks like it could be a real difference maker. Sherry's been around the block a few times. He can chip in offensively. He's responsible in his own end of the ice. This can be one of those lines that you don't lean on him necessarily as your main source of offense, but they can absolutely be a difference maker on a night when maybe your top guns aren't going, or they may just stack on and contribute as well as your top guns. So teams with third lines like that can be really, really dangerous, and I like where it's headed. So lots to be excited about. And Vitek Vanacek. I'm sorry. One more thing. Vitek Vanacek gets the nod opening night. We're sitting here, and I've been wondering this, and every other Caps fan has been wondering this since the beginning of last year. Who's going to be the guy? Who is going to jump up and seize their opportunity, make the most of it, and make their case to be the number one goalie for this team? Well, Vanacek did a real good job of that on Wednesday. Only allowing one goal. Great job, made some huge saves. He was under siege, especially early in the game. The Caps got into some penalty trouble. We'd like to see that cleaned up. We had that last year. We've had that the last few years. Want to see that clean up, but not to take away from Vanacek's performance, because he was fantastic. He was everything you want out of a number one goalie. He was calm, he was collected, and he made the big saves. He made saves that probably he shouldn't have had to, but he made them anyway. That's what you look for. Now, the question's still there. We haven't seen Samsonov in a regular season game yet. Of course, he got injured in the preseason. Could see him on Saturday. We'll likely see him probably by Monday or Tuesday. We'll see. Right now, I'd give the edge to Vanacek. And for me, I mean, I have Samsonov on my fantasy team, so I'd like to see him do well. But ride the hot hand. Vanacek made his case. He was named the playoff starter last year. And I still maintain the only reason Samsonov saw the ice in the playoffs last year was because Vanacek got hurt. If Vanacek hadn't gotten hurt, it would have been his show. So, Vitek's picking up right where he left off last season. Strong play, poised, in control, and we just haven't quite seen that from Samsonov yet. Now, granted, Vanacek's a little bit older, so it might be a maturity factor. I don't know. But this goalie battle, I don't know if we're going to see 50-50. If Vanacek keeps playing this way, he should and deserves to be the starter. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see who gets the net on Saturday. But big game on Saturday. Got the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning are off to an interesting start. They lost their home opener to Pittsburgh. It's a big night. You raise the banner, and they go out and they throw in a clunker. That's a tough one. And then just got out by the skin of their teeth against Detroit on Thursday night. If not for some very lucky or very timely penalty calls in their favor, they probably would have left Detroit with a loss. So we'll see. The Lightning haven't really found themselves early in games yet. They kind of find their way late, maybe too late in games. So we'll see what they have to offer the Caps on Saturday. I will be back with you, of course, all through the season. Until then, go Caps.